Guru, dat je normal.
Ja.
Zo.
Ja, ja.
Tego dat je gratis.
Ja.
Ai, migo, oh, la coisa tá bem, emocionante.
Ai. Oi. Ai.
Go, possibilidade.
Me?
Ai. Trabe, ai. Alas made dape.
Vamos wa kata. Nangati. Oh, dat amos kunnen vanaf Jan of zo.
Ai.
Kom hier, geef me een hand hier. Wacht, iedereen hier komt staan. Dan let ik dat zo doen. Loop zo weg. Daar is de hier. Mijn handje. Okay, and from here?
Listen to them.
Ah, wacht hier. Ja, oké.
Ai. Dape.
Mi hoor je dat de man wakker komt? Ga maar. Pak de touw, ja, en dan trek je hem. Mi kan luso? Mi luso thee?
No, hori. Abonto. Ai. Hori abonto, ai.
Ja, dan ga je. Zo, Spider-Man. Yes. Meer naar rechts, daar is het zitten. Ja, daar heb je gaten, kan je mee.
You guys are on the slippery part. Gotta come on this side.
Ja. Dan een goed vasthoud. Ja.
Hou vast, ja.
Bingo.
Hey, Apetinie.
You can hold all of us.
Strong guy.
No, leave it up.
Rob.
Go to shoot me, go.
Hang on to the rope, Seth. Rope is there for a reason.
kan zo.
Maybe I should let you go ahead of me. She's lipping.
It's not so high.
No.
Yeah, you don't have
That hill down there would have been faster.
no open top. Je bent. Hoe nog keren dat is?
Here's our guide.
Je keren too?
Got to the top of the mountain. Actually, it's between a hill and a mountain.
That one.
And the peak's over straight ahead. We're going to be climbing that tomorrow. We're going to be climbing that tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
The peaks in that over there, the Roosevelt peak.
You will come just there.
Uh-huh.
And we stop in front.
Okay, but for today, it's this hill, which is actually a hill mountain because it's just over the 500 meter, too.
Mm-hmm. Just underneath.
Or just underneath 500 meter. Just. So. Careful, Zach, this is slippery here. You want to go ahead? Oh, it's really slippery.
Especially the wet.
Okay, here we are on the Tempu Hill or mountain. It's actually just under 500 meters, and here in the land of Suriname, anything 500 meters or less is called a hill, so we'll call it the Tempu Hill, but it's actually like a hill mountain. And it's a very high hill for this region, about 500 meters, just under 500 meters, and a great time to hear the word of the Lord. And we'll start today in Genesis 7:19. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. Now during the Exodus, there was a battle, and Moses stood up on a hill with the rod of God, well, his rod, we're told, and assisting the children of Israel in the battle. But how many know that the rod of God he held in his hand, what it actually was? And we're going to look at in the book of Exodus 17:9. And Moses said unto Joshua, choose us out men, and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in mine hand. Exodus 17:10. So Joshua did as Moses said to him, and fought with Amalek, and Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. Now, when they were fighting these giants, Moses would hold the rod of God in the air, and Israel would be winning. But when he let his hands down, the Amalekite giants would start winning at Rephaim. Now, Rephaim, of course, was where he had struck the rock and the water come out. And verse 11, and it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and they sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on the one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. Man, the whole day to the going down of the sun, they held his hands up. Wow, to keep that rod in the air. Now, do your hands get heavy holding up this book? Do your hands get heavy holding up this book? Can't even pick up this book and read it on your own? Believing this book? Do you believe this book? Too much to pick it up and read it in your spare time? Moses and his people had the rod of God. Where's your rod? What did Jeremiah see? Remember Jeremiah back in Jeremiah 1? Was it not the same rod as Moses carried? Let's just read that. Jeremiah 1:1. Jeremiah 1:11. Jeremiah 1:11. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Jeremiah, what seest thou? And I said, I see a rod of an almond tree. Of course, it was Aaron's rod that parted the Red Sea, turned the water into blood, brought frogs upon the land, and turned the sand into lice upon the Egyptians, or the dust into lice upon the Egyptians, and their beasts. Let's just look at that. Numbers 17:3. And thou shalt write Aaron's name upon the rod of Levi, for one rod shall be for the head of the house of their fathers. We'll see Aaron's rod again, because it was placed in the Ark of the Covenant. And that's told to us in Hebrews 9:4. Let's look in Hebrews 9:4. Hebrews 9, verse 4. Which had the golden censer, and the Ark of the Covenant overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had manna, and Aaron's rod that budded, and the tablets of the covenant. So one day very soon, these hills are going to quake at the presence of the Lord. And we can see that in the book of Nahum. We'll go to Nahum 1:4-8. And he rebuked the sea, and maketh it dry, and drieth up all the rivers. Bashan languisheth, and Carmel, and the flower of Lebanon languisheth. The mountains quake at him, and the hills melt, and the earth is burned at his presence. Yeah, the world, and all that dwell therein. The hills quake, yes. Who can stand before his indignation? And who can abide in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. Now we'll get on with our expedition in search of evidence for God's 6-day creation, if that's what it was. Or was there really a gap between Genesis 1 and 2? Let's go on with this expedition and this study. Thanks all for listening. This is where they have sacrifices to the spirits. They bring this beer and stuff up here to suppose that the spirits are supposed to drink it. nice cactus here. Maybe Mom wants one. We can find a small one. Hold the rope. I'll see if I can find a small one for her. I don't know if she wants this kind. Yeah, cactus mixed with fern. It's really nice.
Is it poison?
Poison. Yepe.
It's growing flowers already. That one over there has a bulb.
Sun. Oh yeah, it's full sun.
You hang on. You can hang on. Ask me to kill somebody, I'll kill him. Not this thing. That's Omar, you sing that one song. Which one? Climb every mountain. Yeah, might as well do it.
This isn't even a mountain yet.
It's not even at safety.
Dana a mountain.
Oh, that I want to have done.
That one or the nice cactus there?
Cactus and that one.
The cactus has a nice fern between it. Get me pick one with a nice fern between it. Really pretty fern.
No, it's an orchid type thing. The bamboo type thing.
Oh, the bamboo one. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You need the root though.
You think bats live in these holes, Sensi? Because there's bat poop here. Eh? It looks like bat poop.
Yes, but especially if it's dark,
Uh-huh.
you like it.
Maybe that one's smaller. It has a nice fern in the middle.
This one?
The one that has a nice fern in the middle there.
Yes.
Right there. Yeah, right there.
Something else, no?
Hmm?
I said Cifaras is it's on.
Yeah, it grows right with the cactus.
Yeah.
But maybe the root's too long, no?
We climb up mountain.
Really?
Really.
Kleine grasa.
Don't make jokes. Here.
Yeah, you froze.
Oi! Ano você para? Huh?
I think it's your echo. Yeah, you think it's somebody talking back?
I tried to get over it. Watch his thing. I'm really
You want me to carry your backpack, Zach? It might rip open.
It's probably already ripped.
You want me to carry your backpack? It's gonna rip.
Put it in the front.
Put it in the front, then it's. Yeah.
Is Bena Banida. Sensi, mana yang di bakar siya to? Is that to? Ay.
Tato.
Mabakra is alas di. Di shell, di center.
On your own.
Really? I'm on my own. I'll stay here.
You're good. You gotta stop, big stop here. The plants will stop you.
Get on your side, Seth. He's so scared like him.
I'm gonna rip his pants open.
It's not funny.
Why are you laughing?
No safety or anything. Stupid. Stupid people do this.
Hi, stupid.